I'm Christina Turner, a 28-year-old nurse, and this is the story of how my family skipped my graduation, texted me 3 days later demanding $5,000 for my brother's bachelor party in Cabo, and then called the cops when I said no. That day wasn't supposed to feel heartbreaking, but for me it was. All around me, students were finding their families, hugging them, crying, taking pictures like it was the best day of their lives. I didn't have anyone to walk toward. No one calling my name. No one celebrating with me. When they announced Christina Marie Turner, I still looked over at the seats I'd saved for my family, even though I already knew they'd be empty. 3 chairs. 3 programs. Not a single person in them. My friend Jessica's family cheered so loudly she laughed through her tears. Her dad lifted her off the ground. Her mom hugged her like she'd been waiting years for this moment. Everywhere I turned, someone had somebody. And there I was, holding my diploma, feeling the ache of being the only one who didn't. When it was time to receive the nursing pin, everyone lined up by the stage. Families pushed forward with cameras ready. This was the moment. The one where you officially became a nurse. Someone you loved was supposed to pin that tiny silver symbol on your collar. Make it real. I watched Jessica's mom cry while she pinned hers. Watched Shane's grandmother shake so hard his dad had to help. Watched person after person have somebody there who cared enough to show up. When it was my turn, I reached into my pocket, pulled out the pin I'd bought myself last week. The woman running the ceremony looked at me, looked past me, waiting for someone to step forward. "It's just me," I said. She smiled. That sad kind of smile people give you when they know you should be very proud. I pinned it on myself. My hands barely shook. I'd had 4 years to practice being alone. After the ceremony, my friend Jessica found me by the water table. "Chris, we actually did it," she laughed, her whole family spilling in behind her with phones out. Her mom pulled me into a hug, warm but heavy with pity, while her dad kept calling for another picture. Jessica looked around, confused. "Where's your family?" "Still finding parking." "Work emergency," I said, the lie sliding out of me like it had muscle memory. By the time I walked to my car, most people were gone. Families driving off, balloons tied to antennas. I sat in my Honda, still wearing my white coat. Couldn't take it off yet. Didn't want to admit it was over. For a second, I let myself picture it. Mom running over with flowers. Peter actually showing up for once. Dad, God, my dad, standing by my car like he promised before cancer took him. I could see it so clearly it hurt. Then somebody honked. The moment shattered. I was alone. Again. This wasn't new. They'd skipped my CNA graduation too. Mom said Peter had a client thing. They skipped my associate degree. Peter needed help moving. There was always something. Since Dad died, it got worse. Way worse. I'd spent 4 years working myself to death trying to make them see me. Sending money home. Picking up extra shifts. Saying yes whenever they called with an emergency. I thought maybe nursing school would be different. Maybe if I achieved something big enough, they'd finally notice. I drove home in silence. Dad's stethoscope swung from my rearview mirror. The one he used for 30 years before the cancer made his hands too weak to hold it. He gave it to me my first day of CNA training. Told me I'd do things he never got to do. I started working at 16 as a hospital volunteer. Then CNA certification the day I turned 18. Mom called it initiative. I thought I was helping. The first time she asked for money, I was 19. "Just a little help with the electric bill, honey. Since your dad." She didn't finish. Didn't have to. I sent $300. Then it was Peter's car payment, his security deposit, his networking dinners that somehow cost more than my grocery budget. I bought used textbooks, picked up double shifts, watched my friends go to South Padre for spring break while I worked in a nursing home wiping tears and changing sheets. Before Dad got sick, he used to fight with Mom about money. I'd hear him through the walls. "Christina's scholarship money is hers. She earned it. Don't you dare touch it." But after the funeral, the protections disappeared. 2 weeks later, Mom called. Said we needed money for a proper headstone. Then Peter's tuition. Then his books. Then his life. Dad's last words weren't poetic. We were in his hospital room. Just us. He could barely talk. He grabbed my hand and said, "Don't let them bleed you dry, baby girl. You're going to save lives. Start with your own." I promised him I would. Then I spent 4 years breaking that promise. The text came at 11:47 p.m. I'd just finished a 12-hour clinical rotation. Still in scrubs. Barely keeping my eyes open. My phone lit up on the passenger seat. Need $5,000 for Peter's bachelor party. Cabo Resort requires deposit. Friday deadline. Family helps family. Dad would want this. I sat there in the hospital parking lot staring at those words. Dad would want this. She'd taken his memory and turned it into a weapon. Used his voice to justify bleeding me empty. I opened my banking app, $6,200. 4 years of sacrifice. All in one number. I looked at Dad's stethoscope hanging from the mirror. In nursing school, they talk about parasitic relationships. The host gives until there's nothing left. I just never thought I'd need to diagnose my own family. But there it was. The pathology. Clear as any textbook. I sat in my car until 2 a.m. Engine off. Parking lot lights buzzing overhead. I kept typing and deleting. No, I can't afford it. Delete. No, I need that for rent. Delete. No, I'm sorry, but delete. Finally, I just typed one word. No. My thumb hovered over send for a full minute. Then I pressed it. The reply came in seconds. What do you mean no? Then another. Christina, answer me. Then another. This is family. You don't get to just say no. I turned my phone off. The screen went black. And for the first time in 4 years, the silence felt like relief. Next morning, I called a locksmith. 24-hour service. He showed up an hour later. Older guy. Kind eyes. He looked at my door and said, "New apartment? New life." He smiled like he'd heard that before. The new deadbolt clicked into place. Solid. Final. The sound of a door that only I could open. I pulled Mom's spare key from the emergency drawer. The one she'd insisted on keeping for safety. I dropped it in the trash. Then I started changing everything else. Moved Dad's stethoscope from my car to my bedside table, where I could see it first thing every morning. Removed Mom and Peter from my bank account emergency contacts. Downloaded a recording app because Texas is a one-party consent state, and I had a feeling I'd need proof of everything that came next. I found my graduation photo on my phone. Just me. Cap and gown and diploma. Smiling alone. I printed it. Framed it. Hung it by the door. That afternoon, I made coffee in my quiet apartment. No unexpected knocks. No guilt trip texts. Phone still off. I sat on my couch and just breathed. It was the first morning I'd woken up without dread in 4 years. In the ER, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop treatment. Not every code can be saved. Not every patient wants to be. I'd been trying to resuscitate a family that flatlined the day Dad died. It was time to call it. My first day as an RN was supposed to be perfect. Orientation week at Arlington Medical Center. New badge. New scrubs. Dad's stethoscope tucked under my collar, where I could feel the weight of it. I was nervous, but good nervous. Ready to prove I belonged here. At 2:30 p.m., I was charting vitals at the nurse's station when I saw them. 2 police officers walking through the Med-Surg unit, heading straight toward me. Christina Turner? Every nurse at the station looked up. My charge nurse, Sandra, stood. Her face shifted from confusion to concern to something harder. Suspicion. That's me. The female officer stepped forward. Badge, said Martinez. She had kind eyes, but her voice was all business. We received a wellness check request from your mother. She's concerned about your mental state. My stomach dropped. I'm at work. I'm fine. She claims nursing school stress caused a breakdown. Says she's worried you might harm yourself or others. Others. The word hit like a knife. Others meant patients. Others meant my license. My entire career. Sandra's voice cut through. Is there a problem with her fitness for duty? I couldn't breathe. 3 days. I'd said no 3 days ago, and now she was trying to destroy everything. Can we talk in private? I managed. I led them to the staff break room. Hands shaking.
Pulled out my phone. Turned it back on.
The messages loaded. 23 texts. You're being selfish. The stress is making you irrational. I'm worried about you, Christina. Please call me. I showed them everything. My graduation program. My RN license. Photos of my apartment clean and organized and empty of crisis. Officer Martinez read through the texts. Looked at me. This looks retaliatory. Document everything. We'll file this as unfounded. After they left, Sandra pulled me aside. You okay? Family stuff, I said, barely holding it together. It won't affect my work. She studied my face. You handled it like a pro. But if she calls corporate. She didn't finish.
Didn't have to.
Code blue means life or death. I'd called hundreds on patients. Never thought I'd have to call one on myself. 1 week after the police showed up at work, I got an email during my lunch break. Credit monitoring alert. New account activity. My heart stopped. I hadn't opened any new accounts. After my shift, I sat in the hospital parking lot and logged into my credit report. 3 new accounts stared back at me. Capital One credit card. $2,800 balance. Discover card. $2,400 balance. Personal loan from Quick Cash Lending. $7,000. Total, $12,200 in debt I didn't create. All opened within 10 days of my graduation. I clicked through the transactions. My hands went numb. Capital One. Cabo Resort deposits. Bachelor party venue rental. Discover. Peter's custom tuxedo. Groomsmen gifts. Personal loan. Lump sum transfer to an account with mom's name on it. She hadn't just asked for money. She'd stolen my identity to get it. I called Capital One fraud department. My voice didn't shake. Years of clinical training.
Stay calm.
Assess the situation. This account was opened in person at our Fort Worth branch, the representative said. Co-applicant Jody Turner. I never authorized this. We'll flag it for investigation. You'll need to file a police report. I turned on my recording app. Texas is one-party consent. I needed proof of everything now. Mom answered on the 3rd ring. Oh, so you're talking to me now? I found 3 accounts opened in my name. Care to explain? She laughed. Actually laughed. I was helping you build credit. You should thank me. You forged my signature. Don't be dramatic. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. That's family. No, I said quietly. What's mine is mine. And you stole it. Silence. You wouldn't dare report me. Think what it'll do to Peter's wedding. I already did. The silence stretched so long I thought she'd hung up. Then her voice came back cold and sharp. I'll bury you. I'll call your hospital every day. You'll never work as a nurse again. The line went dead. I drove straight to Arlington PD, filed an identity theft report, handed over the recording, the credit reports, every transaction. Detective Chandler reviewed everything. Looked up at me. This is textbook fraud. We'll coordinate with bank investigators. In triage, we prioritize by severity. This wasn't a laceration anymore. This was internal bleeding, hidden, deadly, and spreading fast. I agreed to meet at the house. My condition, daytime only, and I was bringing Grandma Helen,
Dad's mom.
She was the only one who called after graduation to say congratulations. I pulled into the driveway, and my stomach twisted. Dad's garden was overgrown, weeds choking the roses he'd planted. Mom never touched it after he died. Inside, photos of Peter covered every wall. His college graduation, his promotion, his engagement. My nursing school photo was there too.
Cropped.
Just my face. No white coat. No achievement. Just proof I existed. We sat at the kitchen table. The same one where Dad used to help me with homework. Mom across from me. Peter and his fiancée Ashley beside her. Grandma Helen next to me. Silent support. I'm glad you came to your senses, Mom said. I slid a brown folder across the table. Police report. Credit reports. Transcript of our recorded call. Bank statements. Mom didn't even look at it. This is ridiculous. I was protecting your credit score by managing it. You open accounts without my permission. That's called fraud. Peter spoke up. He looked genuinely confused. Chris, it's my wedding. Can't we just figure this out as a family? Did you know where the money came from? Mom said you agreed to help. Ashley shifted uncomfortably. Peter, maybe we should. Mom cut her off. She's always been jealous of you, Peter. I can't stand seeing you happy. Something in me snapped. I worked 60-hour weeks through nursing school. I held patients' hands while they died. I missed Dad's last Christmas because I was working to send you money for your networking trip to Vegas. Peter looked down. Wouldn't meet my eyes. And you didn't even come to my graduation. We were busy. Dad never missed anything. Not one school play. Not one award ceremony. He died, and you erased me. Grandma Helen's voice cut through. Jody, you're going to lose both your children if you don't stop this. Mom's face went hard. Stay out of this, Helen. This is MY family. John would be ashamed. Mom froze. The bank fraud unit is investigating, I said. They have your signature, your address, your transaction history. The color drained from her face. You'll ruin Peter's wedding. You did that yourself. I'll tell your hospital. I'll tell them you're unstable. That you threatened me. That you can't be trusted with patients. I stood. Pulled out a business card from the victims advocacy group at the hospital. Do it. I have this entire conversation recorded. Witness present. And a lawyer ready. I walked to the living room. Took one photo off the shelf. Me and Dad at my high school graduation. His arm around my shoulders. Both of us smiling. Chris, wait. If you want to make this right, I said to Peter, tell the truth. Tell Ashley's family where the money came from. Grandma Helen followed me out. In the car, she held my hand. Your daddy's proud of you. Sometimes amputation saves the body. Cut away the infected tissue before it spreads. It's brutal. It's necessary. It's survival. 2 weeks later, Peter's wedding week started. Rehearsal dinner at Bunnell's in Fort Worth. Upscale steakhouse. 60 guests. Extended family. Ashley's wealthy parents. The whole wedding party. I wasn't invited, obviously. But Grandma Helen told me when it was happening. At 7:15 p.m., I was home in my scrubs. Just got off shift. My phone rang. Detective Chandler. Miss Turner wanted to notify you. Fraud investigators and officers are executing documentation tonight at a private event. Your mother will be confronted. You're not required to attend. My hand shook. What time? They're arriving now. I sat down. Stared at my phone. 7:32 p.m. Text from Grandma Helen. Officers just walked in. Your mother's face went white. 7:35 p.m. They're asking for her by name. Peter looks confused. 7:38 p.m. Bank investigator reading charges out loud. Identity theft. Forgery. Later, Grandma told me everything. Peter had been mid-toast. Something about Mom's support and family. Officers walked in.
Calm.
Professional. The kind of authority that makes a room go silent. Jody Turner? 60 Forks froze midair. The fraud investigator stepped forward. We're documenting identity theft charges. Credit accounts opened in Christina Turner's name without authorization. A bank representative held up documents. Your signature here. Her social security number here. Forged consent. Ashley's father stood up. Mr. Whitfield. Defense attorney. Excuse me, officers. What exactly are the charges? The investigator explained. $12,200 in fraudulent accounts. Used for wedding expenses. Mr. Whitfield turned to Peter. Did you know about this? Peter stammered. Mom said Chris agreed. Mr. Whitfield looked at Ashley. We need to talk.
Now.
Mom's voice cracked through the silence. This is a misunderstanding. Christina's vindictive, she's. Grandma Helen stood. Jody, stop. Just stop. Uncle Mike, Dad's brother, shook his head.
Jesus, Jody.
What did you do? Someone's cousin was filming. The video would hit 500,000 views by morning. Ashley pulled off her engagement ring, set it on the table. I can't marry into this. I can't. She left. Her parents followed. Peter turned to Mom. You said she agreed. You said. She's your sister. She should want to help. The officer's voice stayed level. Ma'am, we need you to come with us to sign documentation. Mom was escorted out. Not arrested. Just documented. Peter sat alone at the head table, head in his hands. Guests whispered. Phones out. The banner behind him read, Peter and Ashley, forever begins now. The DJ never even started. I sat in my apartment watching storm clouds roll over Arlington. Didn't celebrate. Didn't cry. Just breathed. Text from Grandma. It's done. Come for breakfast tomorrow. I'll be there. In codes, there's a moment when you know it's over. The rhythm flatlines. You call time of death. Tonight I called it. And I felt nothing but relief. The email came 3 days later. Fraud investigation concluded. Jody Turner liable for $12,347 restitution. Mom avoided jail. Plea agreement. Repayment plan plus 2 years probation and community service. The credit bureaus removed every fraudulent account from my report. My credit score came back clean. Peter's wedding was postponed indefinitely. Ashley broke off the engagement. Her father recommended she protect herself legally. Peter moved back home. Couldn't afford his apartment without family help. The irony wasn't lost on me. The extended family split down the middle. Dad's side, Grandma Helen and Uncle Mike, stood by me. Mom's side said I destroyed the family over money. Like I was the one who committed fraud. The rehearsal dinner video hit 847,000 views on TikTok. Bachelor party funded by identity theft. Comments were half support, half attacks. People saying I ruined my brother's life. I didn't respond. Just blocked every related account and kept moving forward. Hospital HR called me in. I walked into that office prepared for the worst. The HR director looked up from her papers. We reviewed the police reports. Your mother made unfounded claims. We're closing the inquiry. Your professionalism during this has been noted. Sandra caught me in the hallway after. You handled a crisis like a pro. That's the nurse I want on my team. My probation period ended early. They made me permanent. Peter texted 2 weeks later. Chris, can we talk? I waited 3 days to respond. Are you taking responsibility or making excuses? I didn't know. I swear.
You didn't ask.
You never asked where the money came from because you didn't want to know. That's a choice. I'm sorry. I believe you. But sorry doesn't undo 4 years of theft. I need space. How much space? I don't know yet. I created a folder. Labeled it Boundaries, Evidence. Police reports. Bank documents. Recorded calls. Filed it legally with an attorney. But it also served as a reminder. This happened. I didn't imagine it. I printed 3 things and framed them on my wall. My RN diploma. Dad's stethoscope in a shadow box. My new apartment key on a decorative hook. I placed the photo of me and Dad beside the diploma. Added a small caption. Saved myself first. I wrote in my journal that night. People ask if I regret it. I don't. I regret waiting so long. I regret believing that bleeding for them was love. Post-op recovery isn't linear. Some days hurt more than others. But the infection's gone. Now it's just healing. 6 months later, October in Texas. Golden light.
Cooler air.
I work at Medical City Dallas NICU now.
Dream job.
My apartment in Oak Lawn fills with sunlight every morning.
Coffee.
Dad's photo on the counter. His stethoscope by the door. I hold a 2-pound preemie during my shift. Monitor her vitals. Her mother watches, terrified. Will she make it? She's a fighter, I say gently. And so are you. I see Dad in that tiny baby's determination. See myself. Choosing survival. Refusing to quit. I launched the John Turner Memorial Nursing Scholarship last month. For students from low-income families. Funded by my donations and Dad's old friends. The first recipient is Maria. Single mom. Community college RN program. Her thank you letter said, "You gave me hope." I cried reading it. Good tears. Grandma Helen and I have breakfast every week. Your daddy's looking down, so proud. I hope so. I finally listened to him. Peter texts sometimes. He's in therapy. His choice. Therapist says I enabled mom. You were braver. I wasn't brave. I was desperate. Think we'll ever be close again? I don't know. But I hope you find yourself the way I did. Mom? Zero contact. Blocked everywhere. Relatives ask me to forgive and move on. I tell them I have moved on. That's why I'm not going back. Evening. I stand on my balcony. Dallas skyline glowing orange-pink. Dad's stethoscope around my neck. For years I thought silence meant loneliness. Now I know it means peace. I record a video. First time sharing publicly. If you've ever had to choose yourself over people who called it selfish, you're not alone. Boundaries aren't betrayal. They're survival. Comments flood in from everywhere. Toronto. Sydney. Thousands saying me too. On my wall. My diploma. Dad's stethoscope in a shadow box, and one key labeled home. Dad used to say you can't pour from an empty cup. I spent years draining mine for people who never said thank you. Now my cup is full. With work that matters. Boundaries that hold. And silence that heals. In nursing, we celebrate when patients are discharged. It means they're healed enough to leave. 6 months ago, I discharged myself from a family that was killing me. Today, I'm thriving. And that's the best prognosis I could ask for. If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe. Every day, we share real stories about boundaries, resilience, and finding your way back to yourself.